The Brantley Method was founded on the principles of motivation, inspiration, and education, primarily for student athletes and their families as they navigate through recruiting journeys, their athletic playing years. We wanted to make sure that guys had something to turn to as a resource and as a free resource, something that they wouldn't have to go and hire somebody to learn within their sport or within whatever their situation, their issue was. And as things have evolved a little bit, I've decided to utilize the platform to focus in on social justice issues as well. So one of the things that stood out to me quite a bit, as we watch and the nation has seen the Black Lives Matter movement really take steam and really transcend race. You see pretty much everybody not only doesn't necessarily have to be out marching, but they're at least understanding and they're taking notice of the movement. And it led me to question, do Black Lives matter in NCAA baseball? I took a deep dive and took a look into the numbers, the representation of African Americans in NCAA baseball. I looked at the Power 5, where there was literally single-digit percentages of student athletes at those colleges. And beyond that, there were several schools that had none at all. And it led me to ask the question of why. And I couldn't quite figure out what that answer is. I couldn't quite put my finger on the reason why that is. Some people will say participation levels are down in youth baseball. And I question once again, why is that? And one of the things that I thought about is representation and the lack of representation. A lot of these young black boys don't have anybody to look up to at that university level to be able to say, hey, I can do this. And because they don't see that, they say, well, these other kids look like me and they're playing basketball in college and I'm watching March Madness, or they're playing in the NBA or they're playing in the NFL. So as I did more and more research, I identified that there's 4 coaches in NCAA baseball at the Power 5 level, 3 assistants, 1 head coach. That's it. That's it for African American coaches at the highest level, or the perceived highest level for these student athletes. So if you're a guy that your dream is to play at the next level, and your dream is to take baseball as far as it can take you, and at that highest level nobody looks like you, it can be challenging, or it can feel like that dream is not a possibility. If you're a kid that just loves the game and wants to coach, and you look at that level and there's nobody coaching that looks like you, it can change and shift the dynamic of whether that's something that you pursue or not. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to take a positive from pull a positive out of a negative. I wanted to say, first and foremost, thank you to those trailblazers. Spencer Allen at Northwestern, thank you. Derek Simmons at Indiana, thank you. Austin Waits at Kansas State, thank you. Noah Jackson at Cal, thank you. You guys are beacons of hope. You guys are guys that we can look at and say, hey, it can be done, it is being done, and it's possible for future generations. We're into 2020, which is the 100th anniversary of the Negro Leagues. We can't deny, you can't remove the impact and the influence that Black lives had on baseball and getting it to the point in this country that it is today. So at some point, we need to circle back to that, and we need to tell our young black boys that this is a sport that not only can they play in, but they can dominate, and they can dominate at the highest level. I'd love to hear from you guys as to why you think participation levels are down. Why do you think that there's a lack of black boys, black young men playing NCAA Division I baseball? Why do you think there's a lack of coaches coaching at the next level? Feel free to leave comments, send me emails. Once again, this is a positive space. Everything's about motivation, inspiration, and education. So please keep it clean. Please keep it positive. Let's try and figure out a solution to the problem versus pointing out more problems. All right, guys. Thanks.